Please.
There we go. Push the button. Button pushed. Okay, go.
And we're live. This is the Christmas edition of N.A.W. It's Anecdotally, or
Please.
something to that effect.
There we go.
Festivus for the rest of us. That's what it is.
Anecdotal.
I am your host. Anecdotal, whatever. Still the host. How's it going, Josh?
There is a C there, yes.
Correct.
Going well. Going well. I'm very cheery on this. Fine. Huh?
Festivus
What did you
for
say?
the rest of us.
No.
Oh, we're off to a rip-roaring start as usual.
Yep.
And chiming in is Sean. How's it going, Sean?
It's going. I'm also running this bitch.
Oh, good. So 2 minutes ago you pressed the button, and now what are you doing?
Just making sure that it stays up.
Swamp says he can't join the call.
Yeah, well, that's Arkansas's public schools for you folks, or Louisiana,
Well,
depending.
he's from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which was what? Louisiana's what? South Arkansas?
Basically.
Yeah, pretty
Turn
much.
it off, then turn it back on again.
Everybody's watching The Witcher. Except for me.
Everyone is watching.
I haven't had a chance to start it yet.
I finished the entire series, so.
How many episodes?
I'm 6.
It's like 8?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there's only one more Mandalorian, too.
So it's all done?
Well, till the first season's done.
Oh. Well. It's Disney. I'm sure that they'll be Imagineering getting that shit out quick.
Yeah. Have Baby Yoda. We'll have a pet that will be equally as adorable. Speaking of which,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I broke down and watched The Last Jedi.
That was the movie from 2 years ago?
It was the 9th.
Oh, so you Rise of Skywalker, then.
Yes.
Pretty sure it's called The Last Jedi.
Pretty sure The Last Jedi was episode 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys seen them both?
Which would have been Mark Hamill's character. Luke.
Yeah, he died at the end.
So yeah, you watched the movie from 2 or 3 years ago, whenever it was.
Oh.
There's a new one in the theaters right now, Fry.
So,
Which is Rise 10? Of Skywalker.
That's
9. Unless you're counting the Ewoks Christmas special or whatever.
It's the one where he drank milk from that nipply sea monster.
That'd be The Last Jedi, which would be number 8.
All right, that's the one I watched.
Sadly,
the one where it was obvious that he wasn't that he was like a hologram or a force projection or whatever. Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, not a good movie.
No.
There's some things in it that are good, but not a good movie.
It doesn't make sense to do anything but have the ship fly directly towards the moon or the planet or whatever, since it's got its shields up and can block fire, to be the blocking fire so that the ships could make it directly to the goddamn planet. Just doesn't make sense for anything else. But they didn't do that. That's just dumb. It'd be like if you were in an MRAP that could launch motorcycles out of the front of it, and the motorcycles drove alongside the MRAP instead of staying in front of it while it was being fired on from behind. It was just stupid.
By the way, I like the picture for the N.A.W. episode.
Kwanzaa bot?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have low ratings, so if
I was half expecting to have Robot Santa.
We still got on the Podbean scale for top 10 audiences.
What?
Well, they measure by how many views you get and how racist your episode is, according to Blonde.
Really?
So
the more
that's how
people, the more people that watch you, the more racist everything becomes.
That seems to be it.
That seems a little weird.
So, did anybody have anything they did want to talk about? Besides
Not
Witcher?
really. We could talk about The Witcher.
What do you think about the voting for, but then withholding of the articles of impeachment?
I laugh.
I understand it, because that was the holdup the entire time anyway. Like, you didn't actually have witnesses. What you had were appeals to authority portraying witnesses. No one had any firsthand knowledge whatsoever. They did have knowledge, but nothing having to do with what happened. Like, no one, in no testimony were the words "President Trump said to me" even uttered. So, "I saw President Trump" also were not uttered. It was from my understanding what it was said between President Trump and some other person. Collusion.
What the fuck are you talking about? Glock 44.
What?
Is
Garrett,
44,
he's
is that
talking.
22?
Is that the one that?
Yeah, the
folded
new
in half?
Glock 22 LR. So,
Ooh, excuse me.
I mean, far be it from Glock to actually make a pistol that somebody wants, 10 millimeter and a 19 size. But no, fuck me, right?
You can't have a 10 millimeter in a 19 size.
Why? They have it in a 23 size, for God's sakes.
Yeah, but the 20 and the 21 are an upgraded, basically, size. They are much bigger than their 17 and 22 counterparts.
Right, but the only 10 mils that Glock has are the really subcompact
Single
and
stack, yeah.
a full size. If they were to release a 10 millimeter that was the size closely relative to the Glock 19.
Okay, so you're just wanting a compact version of the 20.
Yeah.
What would that be? Like 8 rounds?
10 mil?
What is a...
No, it'd be like a 45, so it'd be like 12.
Well, no, a full size. My 21 has 13.
This is 21 10 mil? The 21 was
My 21
45.
No, my 21 is 45. It
Yeah, I was
carries
about to
13
say,
rounds.
10 millimeter is smaller than 45. It's not as fat.
Oh yeah, it's right up there with. It's the same size, basically. I mean, the same diameter as 40.
Yeah.
So that would be. Yeah, that'd be. Uh, let's see. My 40 carries 9 rounds. My subcompact 40 carries 9 rounds. My full size carries 15. So meeting in the middle, yeah, I'd say 12, 13. 12 plus 1, probably. But isn't it longer?
Don't know.
It's the same diameter as a 40, but it's a. They call it a cut down for 40. Or a 40 is a cut down 10 millimeter. So wouldn't it be a longer chop down? Maybe they call it. I don't shoot 10 millimeter. I don't shoot 1 centimeter. Boom, got you, faggots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it will kill bears with proper loadings.
It's only 45.
No, it really won't.
Here you go, Fry.
If you shoot enough of them.
How far are you
There
from
you go.
Savannah?
Is it Georgia? An entire state away?
No, Tennessee.
Oh, mm-mm. I don't know. Let's fucking find out. Fuck around and find out. I need help spelling Savannah, though. Or
Oh no, you're too far away from this.
Ooh. 8,650,000.
Savannah, Tennessee.
Nice.
Savannah, Tennessee. Motherfucker. There we go.
You're probably
Hey, Cortana,
closer.
you suck.
Is that what I have? 215 miles.
That's why they're getting rid of Cortana.
Oh, what are they replacing her with?
Nothing. They're just getting rid of her.
I never had her. What's in Savannah, Georgia? Or Savannah, Tennessee?
Property. What is it? How many? 6,203.31 acres.
Well, unless they're giving it for a charming smile, I can't afford it.
8,650,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can afford that. I thought you meant money.
But
Oh, you can afford that, but you can't afford to pay me back? Motherfucker.
It
I see how
has
it is.
an airstrip with a control tower and 2 hangars. Each hangar is over 3,500 square feet. 4 nice modular buildings on the property. Large double-winged equipment shed with central insulated shop and office quarters. A fiber optic line has been laid to the interior of the ranch. 4 large, high-elevation observation tower stations scattered throughout the ranch provide magnificent views of both landscape and wildlife.
So Josh can visit. He just can't bring his dog.
Makes you think I'd visit.
Why wouldn't you visit?
Because you smell?
That's an allegation.
You're right, it is.
Nothing confirmed yet.
It is rather large.
That's what she said.
looks quite defensible.
Why are we looking at this?
I don't know, popped up.
What's with the dog?
I don't know. Neighbor's dog's going crazy, so my dogs decided to go out and join it because dogs are sociable.
Yep. They enact in social barking.
Have you seen they're kind of like GIFs, but it's the dogs reacting to the scene in Zootopia where the dogs all howl.
No.
Have you seen Zootopia?
Sadly.
Yeah, that's how they sneak into the Russian whatever. The thing that's guarded by Russian wolfhounds is they make them howl.
Yeah.
They're wolves of some sort. So yeah, it's a contagious wolf howling, and it's pretty funny. But there's a bunch of gifs of basically huskies and shepherds howling in a contagious way.
Yeah. My dogs don't howl; they just bark. I wish we could have Face on, but he's drunk and probably passed out by now.
At this point, he's probably passed out.
Yeah, and a giant doxer.
Of himself, though, so I mean.
Oh, that's better.
Diners eating Impossible burgers are doused with beet juice by protesting meat rights activists.
Yeah, that was on the Onion, right?
Yeah. They're really not as sharp as they used to be. Have you noticed that? Like
yeah.
All their talent went to Babylon Bee.
Yeah.
I have a buddy on Facebook who tried it, and he says it's called the Impossible Burger because it's impossible for anybody to try it a second time.
I don't even want to try it the first time.
Well, he tried it out of curiosity. He said it was awful. And I'm like, it's Burger King. How can you tell?
Yeah, I don't really eat Burger King to begin with. Although they did have that blackout burger that I wanted to try. Had like a black bun and black cheese.
So, it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
By the way, you're not following me, Josh, asshole.
Matt Hunter?
I tried to.
I was following Jay Fry. I'm sorry.
I tried to send you something the other day, and it said, "Yeah, you can't message this person."
Oh. Womp womp.
It's like, fucking guy's not even following me.
Fine, I will follow.
Yeah. All right. Steven doesn't use
followed
Cortana.
Your other accounts, god dang it.
Did you follow what the hell was his name? Jack Death?
I think so.
He's gone now. I don't remember his password. I don't remember what email I used to get it. Something like Jack Death at Proton Mail or something. I don't remember. So let's talk impeachment.
Do we really have to?
It hasn't happened.
Yes, these people need to be mocked. There is a large portion of Twitter, for sure, and to a slightly lesser degree, Facebook, expected the president to be ousted from office, from the impeachment, from the House of Representatives. Like, he was just gone. Merry impeachment. These are the people. And more like, your password should be eat a dick, Stephen. Or ate a dick. These people actually thought that it was the full impeachment and Trump was gone because of a vote in the House of Representatives that was completely partisan. And they call Trump supporters uneducated voters.
Yup.
It's amazing to me. But what's more amazing is the people who are surprised that Nancy Pelosi is not sending over articles of impeachment. They had their kangaroo court. She can't allow the Senate to do what they did in the House because what they did in the House was shady as fuck. And it would go the opposite direction, as shady as fuck in the other direction, if Mitch McConnell, the senator who is Republican, were to get a hold of it. They would end up impeaching Joe Biden, because what the House was able to do was impeach Donald Trump for Joe Biden's crimes.
Pretty much. That's the thing that gets me, is that we've got him on video bragging about doing exactly what they're accusing Trump of doing. And yet everybody's like, well, that's nothing. Nothing to see there.
Well, what bothers me more than that is the idea of quid pro quo. I'm giving you $1 billion. Fuck yes, there are strings attached to it. That's why I'm giving you $1 billion. Only in politics is this shit supposed to come money for nothing. We don't put, like if we gave China money to help in their whatever situation China's in, we don't expect them to lighten up on Hong Kong and quit their human rights abuses. We give money to Saudi Arabia and we don't attach, like, hey, quit being a cock to women in there. We just give these other countries money and expect nothing for it. Is that really how politics works? I don't like it if that is. I want to limit any funding we give to other countries. Foreign aid without benefit is throwing money into the trash. Steven says Biden has possibly provable crimes. Yeah, it's strictly out of his own mouth. His own testimony is what convicts him of his crimes. To me, that's not allegedly. That's literally him saying what he did. And if I said I killed somebody, you don't say, well, Jay Fryer allegedly killed somebody. No, if that person's dead, there's no allegedly anymore. So if that person's fired, and Joe Biden talked about trying to get somebody fired, and he's fired, allegedly's kind of gone out the window at that point. Unless it's being tried, and he says he didn't do it in that case, then reasonable doubt. The reasonable doubt is he admitted it. Am I wrong there, or what? I kind of think I'm right. That's just me.
Normally you are. Nothing stands out to me to really argue against.
Gotta pretty good view from that fence, I see. Hey, Josh?
Not really.
Welcome back. How's it going, buddy?
No, I was here. I was listening. I don't have anything to say about this impeachment crap, nor do I really care. Because it has blown up in their faces, and it's not going to go anywhere.
I mean, the one
Orange
thing
Man
they
bad.
can really... Yeah.
That's all they see.
The one thing they can really point to as different is Bill Clinton, when he was getting impeached, he was at 50% in the approval polls. By the end of the impeachment, when he was convicted in both the House and the Senate, by the end of it, his approval rating had rose to 64 points. Or 64%. 14 points. So Trump started impeachment at 50%, and he ended impeachment at 50%. So it didn't affect anybody. So when the Republicans impeached Bill Clinton, arguably for what he actually did as opposed to Trump, Bill Clinton ended up gaining nearly 15 points in the polls. That's something I also find interesting is the calibration of the polls. As of right now, Trump is actually winning against every member in the Democrat Party. But are those polls like the polls that were run against Hillary, or have there been things taken into account and Trump is just barely winning in the polls? Because as of election night, we all know Trump had a 3% chance of winning. So I'm wondering if that is how the math's still calculated in these polls and Trump wins by a landslide, or if it actually has been calibrated and he's barely squeaking out victories. All I know is the people, Merry Christmas, poet. The people who voted for Trump in the past are voting for Trump in the future. And a few people who
Merry Christmas.
Who haven't voted for Trump will be voting for Trump.
Right. The question is that how many more people that were... The unknown is of the people that just assumed Hillary was going to win and would have voted for her anyway, but didn't bother because they assumed she was a shoo-in. How many of them are there that are actually motivated to go vote in 2020?
Well, Obama had unprecedented numbers, and that was only 2 million. He got 2 million more votes than Hillary. So let's see. So the real question is: has the increase 6% or 6 points from 44% to 50%? Does that make up to 3 million people voting for Trump in 2020? We will see in about 11 months. 10 months, give or take. So, does anybody in chat, the few of you who are in chat, have anything they want to talk about?
Boogaloo 2020?
Boogaloo 2020. What's your long-range platform for shooting purple-haired feds that are deputized to enforce Virginia's new gun laws or whatever?
I'll be right back, gents.
All right. We're taking your questions live on air.
How do you spell Mauser?
M-A-U-S. Yeah,
E-R.
Mauser. E-R. Yep. Stephen from Houston, you're on the air. What's your question?
Nobody's got anything. Wolfie, you still here? We can talk cryptids.
Well, yeah.
If Wolfie's here, we can talk
Figure
cryptids.
45 seconds.
Yeah, no kidding. A full minute delay.
Yeah. Poem wants favorite album of the decade, favorite movie of the decade.
Favorite movie of the decade. When did
1984. Favorite album of the decade.
No, that was last decade. That doesn't count. Damn it.
What?
Black Dynamite.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
2009, so it doesn't count. Damn it. I'm gonna have to go with Deadpool, the first one.
Yeah, I could see that. I was a big fan of um, of I really like the end games, even though Josh likes to shit all over that, saying like how completely predictable it was.
As far as favorite album, you're gonna hate this, poet, but I'm gonna have to go with Scandroid's Oblivia, whichever one Oblivia was on. Hang on, let me look that one up. Which one was this? Was it its own album? No, it's just Scandroid's self-titled album? I don't know which one it was on, damn it. And the thing is while I still love that song, I'm kind of over Scandroid itself. I just need to get off YouTube and actually do a Google search.
Can you check the
I think I'm gonna pick one. It would be John Wick.
Dreams in Monochrome.
Simply,
sorry.
Dreams in Monochrome.
Yeah.
No, go. You finish yours.
No, that was it. That's probably the album that I like the best out of this decade.
Mm-hmm. I think in the last five years, I'll say, John Wick has kind of really. It's like the first time they brought wire work over from Hong Kong to America, and you started seeing that in American films. It changed the genre, and an effective tactical shooting. Even though there were a few times where John Wick went over his understandable magazine capacity, it was a tour de force in tactical fighting. Yes, John Wick is practically Superman. You normally don't get hit by cars and survive them in the way John Wick does, and you don't have Armani suits that are made from Kevlar. But I think John Wick brought a new level of tactical awareness and combat realism to fight scenes that you rarely see. Haywire with Gina Carano was a good example of that. It didn't really take off, and for some reason, her voice was dubbed. But it brought a grittiness to it that that is rarely seen outside of it's a lot of it's too pretty to be real, or in situations like there's rarely two people holding guns on each other in like the standard quick and the dead style of Mexican standoffs, or no, the good, the bad, the ugly style of Mexican standoffs. In this, they have their guns out, but it's who is that? Common? Is that who that was? John Wick and Common shooting each other with suppressors in the subway. That was a little bit of bullshit, but they were firing on each other, so I appreciated that as opposed to. I recently saw in it was on TV, but this guy helps a girl out of her car, and they both see that each other's armed, and they pull their guns on each other. And the girl reaches into her pocket for her badge, and the guy who has a gun pointed at him, and he's pointing a gun at her, tells her to hold up. And she literally asked the question that everyone should be asking at that point. What am I going to do? Pull another gun? Like, what can I pull while we're pointing guns at each other that could be more dangerous than the gun I already have pulled on you? So getting away from stupid shit like that is something I appreciate. And John Wick does that. So I'll pick John Wick for the decade. If for some reason John Wick is too old, I will pick John Wick 2 for the goddamn decade. I just want to have my bases covered there. Steven, I asked if there were any questions from the audience, and then I Larry Kinged you with Steven from Houston, you're on the air. So that was... So if you have any questions for me, such as favorite album of the decade, which, again, I picked 1984 because I don't listen to a lot of music, and favorite movie of the decade, which I picked as John Wick. What'd you pick for your favorite movie of the decade, Sean?
Hang on a second.
All right, so I'm going to go with least favorite movie of the decade, and for that, it is unequivocally A Wrinkle in Time. They really did their best to hurt a book, and they did a pretty good job of killing that book. So thanks for that. Fucking Chris Pine. You back yet, Josh? Don't mind Sean. He's in a Twitter fight right now. He'll be back eventually.
I'm back.
Who are you talking to?
My son.
Who are you typing to?
Oh, my friend. It's not a fight. Why am I typing angrily?
I'm back.
Huh. It's quickly. What's your favorite album and favorite movie of the decade?
Me?
Yes.
Favorite album of the decade?
Yeah.
Let me see. I have to see if this one was even in this decade.
Yeah, I had that problem with the movie, I thought.
Yeah. Oh, did you guys see Eddie Murphy his intro on Saturday Night Live?
No, but I heard that the whole show was pretty good, and that he did Mr. Robinson and Gumby and Buckwheat.
I didn't hear about Buckwheat, but yeah, it was kind of anti-white.
Oh well.
What isn't these days?
Yeah. And it was cheered on by the audience of shutting
my
up
album,
the white person.
My favorite album, at least of this decade, is from 2010. It's Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, Beat the Devil's Tattoo.
Black Rebel Motorcycles Club Beat the Tattoo.
BRMC.
Okay.
And favorite movie of this decade?
That's the question.
I mean, I don't know. They're all horrible.
Steven's right there with me. He listed his favorite album and then listed the worst movie. And like I could do worst movie far before I could do favorite movie.
I would say, gosh,
I know, right? Put you on the spot. Come on, though.
I'm trying to think of like good movies within the past 10 years that I really liked.
All right. Well, then I'm going to subdivide my choice. For my favorite horror movie, I want to pick Cabin in the Woods. Everyone shits on Cabin in the Woods. I liked Cabin in the Woods. So I'm also picking Cabin in the Woods as well as John Wick.
Oh, I know what I can do.
Go on.
I can do God, what was it? It was Kingsman.
Oh yeah. Kingsman was supposed to be a lot more popular than it was. Like, do you know they had like full suit lineups that you could purchase from the movie?
No.
Yeah. It's on the DVD commentary. Like the suits from the movie you could buy. I don't know if they were strictly in England, but yeah, they had full wardrobes laid out. I'm like, yeah, well, can I buy the gun, dickheads?
Wasn't it like a little Russian gun that they had?
Definitely. It was like it's like a rocket propelled grenade carrying Makarov. Probably like 25 or something.
Let's see what it was.
What?
Knows.
Like a Sheffield? What guns do they make in England itself? Because Walther is a European company, but it's not English. What's your favorite movie, Steven? Favorite movie of the decade? I heard Beyonce's got one of the top hip hop albums of all time. So I'm going to include Beyonce on that this decade. What is it?
It's a TT-30. It is a Tokarev.
Oh, is it Tokarev?
Yeah.
Is that an underbarrel? Is it underbarrel?
Let me see. An underbarrel 20 gauge shotgun attachment.
20 gauge.
Yeah, that's what it was supposed to be.
Ex Machina.
It's a
I've not
Tokarev.
seen Ex Machina, so I can't say one or the other. But X-Men Apocalypse or Episode 8 are probably tied for worst movie of the decade.
I don't know. Have you seen Range 15?
No.
Hey, fuck off. I appreciate
you can be you want. It's funny, but it is terrible, Fry. You know this.
I know somebody who was in that movie. I did like Alita Battle Angel. I don't know if they're going to continue with that. I'd like to, just because I haven't seen Ed Norton in anything in a while. But how did Alita do in in theaters. I'm gonna look that up. Maybe there'll be a 2 on the way. That takes some guts to be like, I want her to have eyes bigger than anybody else. Christoph Waltz. Was this good? It's 7.4 out of 10. It had 1 win and 17 nominations. Guess I can just look to see if there's a Alita 2 in this chick's. No. So far, no, not yet. Bummer. Steven's choice. Jeez, talk about. That's pretty broad, Steven. He goes from Endgame and Frozen to The Purge and Sinister. That's quite the discerning taste.
Not 12 Years a Slave? Really? How gauche.
Suicide Squad was pretty bad as an overhyped and not delivering. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's the same movie as Stephen loved Lucy. Not as much as Ricky did. I am sick of the comic book movies that are the same damn movie on repeat. Suicide Squad and
Lucy was horrible, Steven. You should feel bad.
Which one's that? Is that with Angelina Jolie or Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it just because she's hot, but yeah, the movie didn't look great.
Yeah, like Justice League, Steppenwolf, and Suicide Squad, and whatever the fuck, Enchantress's brother. It's the same damn movie. You've got this one individual fighting a group of people, which on the face is just bullshit. But then there's this mystical fucking Wudgemaroo that destroys the world. I don't need that. No one needs that. It doesn't need to be such large scale to be so impactful. Like, the world doesn't have to end for your movie to be kind of okay. You can have a hard-fought battle that is about less than a fucking city and still come out on top of it. Heroes fight the fights that need to be fought, not the fights that need to be won. So I don't care when your goddamn villain builds the Earth-destroying device or the Earth-teleporting device or the Earth-shattering device or whatever, and for some reason it's always a big circle in the sky, which is also weird. Quit doing that, Hollywood.
Dude, Hollywood put gigantic mechanical spiders in like 3 movies.
I was in college when I was.
Which movie was that?
By Kevin
First
Smith.
one was Wild Wild West.
That's true.
Fucking Thomas Brothers. They tried to do that for Superman. Superman Returns or Superman Returns? Some other movie. And they ended up getting it in the Wild Wild West just because that's what they wanted. Now, sometimes people donate to movies, like they fund them independently, with the desire to see something. Um, a lot of times, it's brand advertisement. Um, like in a Michael Bay movie, the wild transformer magic turns the Mountain Dew machine into a transformer or whatever. Uh, or in the case of absurd movies, it's just cans of Coca-Cola or whatever. But as producers, just quit pushing the giant fucking robots, spiders, steam powered in 1960 or 1863 or whatever. I don't know. It had to be like 68 because it was after the Civil War. But goddamn. What other two movies had robotic spiders in them?
Oh, I'm sure there was more than that. I'm trying to think what other ones did. They were all around the same time, too. Well, they made two Meteor movies, like, at the same time, too. Deep Impact and...
3 months apart. Yeah.
and
One came out in February and one came out in
May.
The summer. Yeah, yeah. I was talking with Steven about the no. Well, what was it? No, because that was Deep Impact and Armageddon. It was the other one. Oh no, it was Dante's Peak and Volcano. They came out like 4 months apart. What's y'all's pick? Dante's Peak or Volcano?
Dante's Peak.
I didn't see either one.
I like Dante's Peak, but I prefer the sacrifice in Volcano to the sacrifice in Dante's Peak because the sacrifice in Dante's Peak was useless.
If you're going off that, yes.
No, I'm just saying the grandma's sacrifice jumping out of the boat and pushing it up to shore was literally useless. They were coasting and would have made it to the dock, but instead she pushed them to shore after jumping in, and like no. I love Spy, best Melissa McCarthy film. Spy. Which Melissa McCarthy film is The Spy Who Loved Me or My Ex Spy or? I really wanted to see My Super Ex Girlfriend, but I can't stand the heroine. That chick looks like a foot that everybody loves for some reason.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, she starred in Kill Bill.
Uma Thurman?
Uma Thurman. Yeah, she was the heroine in my Super X or whatever. Spy. All right, so it's just called Spy. Yeah, Steven, of course you love Uma. She's the Liza Minnelli of our time.
Makes sense.
What other movies did I hate this decade? Did either of the Nightmare or the Friday the 13th franchises come out this decade? I think Friday the 13th came out in 2013. Friday the 13th. Ah, damn it, 2009. Nightmare on Elm Street. Ah, 2010. 2010. Damn it. All right, so from last decade. Yeah, both those movies sucked. Wow, what else do we got that was good and or bad? I really didn't care for Ghostbusters.
The new one looks good.
The new one does look good, but the last one, which apparently the new one completely ignores, to the harumph of Les Dog.
Yeah. Well, Les Dog can fuck right off.
I got suspended for a day for calling her Harambe.
Mm.
What movies did I really like this year that I told people I really liked? John Wick.
I just don't really
Clearly,
go to the movies anymore, honestly.
I haven't gotten the movies in years. I just been watched GH. What's
Ghost
GH?
Hunters.
Ghost. Oh, go fuck off, Steven.
Oh, I have no idea what GH is. I'm just guessing.
Well, if it's Ghost Hunters, fuck off. GB.
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters? Oh, all right. Josh, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Huh. Tell Steven about Ghostbusters.
What about it?
She
The
told me
fact
about
that what it was, the original plot was supposed to be.
Someone told Dan Aykroyd, calm your shit. Hey, we got a budget. Calm your shit, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, pretty much. So the original plot to the original Ghostbusters was they were from the future, and they traveled through dimensions to actually catch ghosts, and they had a Ecto-1, but it was a 1975 Cadillac hearse, not like a 59 Cadillac hearse, which was what the Ecto-1 ended up actually being. And it had a cloaking device that would hide them from the police. But Dan Aykroyd is very nutty and has no concept of budget, so they ended up having to rewrite it. Ivan Reitman basically rewrote it and saved the story to more sensible modern day New York.
That's more sensible.
And yeah, he and Ghostbusters 2 was supposed to be take place right after Ghostbusters 1. And it actually involved Dana getting kidnapped by fairies and taken to Ireland, where I guess Avalon is. And they had the whole movie was about them going and rescuing Dana from the fairies in this underground tunnel that went from New York to Ireland. And they were having to traverse this 2,000-mile tunnel. So, yeah. Yeah, Dan definitely he's a good actor, but he's way the fuck out there. Just
For a
listen to
little-
him talk about Crystal Head Skull vodka. That shit's funny.
If you want a little understanding of how out there Dan Aykroyd is as a writer, go ahead and watch Nothing But Trouble, and then get back to us.
This is also true.
That's one movie he was given free reign and budget in, as long as they cast Chevy Chase. They got Chevy Chase, and they got the budget for the movie Dan Aykroyd wanted to make. It's just ridiculous. All right. Any more questions before we get out of here?
Not really. It's kind of been
Questions,
kind of a flat episode.
concerns.
Well, it's the holidays. There's not a lot going on in the realms of that kind of shit.
So I'm going to say probably nobody's got any questions. So,
well, give them another 20 seconds just for.
Yeah, I was gonna say it takes forever because the stream likes to be about a whole minute behind sometimes.
This is true.
Yep. But anyway, I'll prepare the link for off hours. Oh, we didn't talk about Witcher, so we'll talk about Witcher real quick. A heads up for those of you who are watching Witcher. It does take place in multiple timelines. So you have to...
In case you haven't figured that out. It took Fry a little bit to figure that out.
Just one episode, like the fourth episode or whatever.
Oh, don't be modest.
Shut up. Because there's no clue to it. They don't tell you that there is a time difference or anything like that.
This is also true.
So just be aware that there are multiple periods of time in which The Witcher takes place. The entire episode is nearly a different time, and they don't tell you. So just heads up. All right. No one had any questions. We wasted enough time. Steven's got it, but he hasn't watched it yet. All right, so let's go ahead and get off here. If anybody has any questions or comments, they can go into the hangout. Otherwise, we are out of here. All right.
Night, everybody.
Night. Have a Merry Christmas.
Everybody.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.